for life. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rethinking Legal Ops, powered by Speed Legal, where we have forward thinking conversations about how artificial intelligence and legal tech are changing the way and transforming the way that we practice law. And for today's episode, we have with us Markus Oksanen, a partner at DLA Piper in Finland. Really excited to have you here, Markus, and get your insights on legal tech. Can you tell us a little bit about, just to begin, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into legal tech from when you started out as an attorney to what you're doing right now?
Yeah. Hello, and nice to meet you all, and thank you for invitation to this great Speed Legal webinar, and greetings from Helsinki, Finland. It's early April. We should have a nice spring, but actually it's snowing, rain, and it's cold and not that nice. But that's what we have. Hope you have a bit more warm wherever you are. I've been working with tech companies for all of my career, about 20 years. Helsinki is actually one of those kind of European tech hubs, and there is a lot of interesting tech startups, what are based in Helsinki, especially the mobile game companies. We have some very well known, and this is one of those places, kind of besides London, Berlin, maybe kind of one of those European hubs of where things are happening. And I've been following these Finnish tech growth companies for about 20 years. In whatever is happening on a tech side, and now we are kind of interesting times when the tech and the legal, what is the kind of, to me, is the profession I like, and where I have made my career. Now they are kind of interacting for the first time in real life, and it's very interesting to see what is the outcome of this legal plus tech combination.
That's amazing, and you have extensive experience advising tech clients, working on really high stakes mergers and acquisitions. I'm curious to hear, what are the kind of legal tech tools that you are using at DLA Piper at the moment?
Yeah, DLA is of course kind of one of the big law firms, and we have, I would say that we have kind of a quite typical set of legal tech tools. And then we have some kind of fancy things. Kind of the kind of the typical set what we have, as most of the big law firms have. We have certain digital tools for M&A work. They are some type of collaboration platforms where you can manage M&A projects. You can get all the correspondence in an M&A project to that digital platform. You can share the files, documents with those team members internally and with other parties. And then we have kind of AI contract review tools. What can be used in an M&A work. And they do work, especially this contract review tool. It does what it promises. It is able to extract some of the kind of the easy, simple clauses from the huge bunch of documents. But whether it's useful, to be honest, maybe not. But that is kind of a quite typical set of M&A digital tools. For competition lawyers, we have some kind of text extraction tools, what they can use for cartel type of analysis, where they have to read and extract information from emails and other material. We have, of course, our own contract creation tools, where we can populate the contract templates. And these are something that I think all the law firms nowadays have. Then we have some kind of other digital tools, kind of some what we use to kind of a market search type of where we can follow the clients or industries. It browses the internet and kind of collects data. Then quite new one is the kind of this type of kind of no code tool, what the lawyers can do to make their own applications. You can do it kind of, for example, make some very simple analysis of. It's a kind of a binary tree. What you can do. But if you ask me, we actually have one very simple tool. What is so simple that I almost kind of not sure if I could even mention it, but it's the most valuable and most useful, if you ask me, and I use it every day. And it's a GDPR. What is this privacy regime in Europe? It's a GDPR app. You can download it to your mobile phone, and it gives you a very nice outset of the GDPR regulation. You can browse it by different languages, and you can jump from one chapter to other. It's very nice, and it's not only our privacy lawyers, but the clients love it. And it's kind of, it's very simple, and it's even kind of so low tech, so to say. But I think it's a good example that a good legal tech product doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be useful. And this GDPR app is, I would say, the most useful legal tech product what we have.
That sounds like very useful. And when you said that legal tech tools, or just the tech used in collaboration with lawyers, does not have to be complicated, because just legal education, law school, and just working as a lawyer, it kind of makes you want to like complicate things a little bit, I guess, the way lawyers think at times, so that problems don't arise in the future. But when it comes to legal tech, simplicity, I think is key, especially for that type of client interaction. So you mentioned a lot of really cool tools that you're using at DLA Piper, and DLA Piper it's a really big global law firm. Legal tech has been around, for a while. We've seen e-discoveries and forms of contract lifecycle management for, I think, a little over 20-25 years now. In your career, you said you have you're an expert in this field now. How have you seen the attitude within the legal community change towards legal tech, just in your experience?
Yeah, it's true that in US the legal tech has been active for some decades. In Europe, it's not that much actually. It's legal tech is quite new phenomena. There is a great activity during the last maybe 5 years. Not that much actually before, but now there is hundreds, thousands startups emerging in this legal tech market. The VCs are investing. The law firms, especially the big law firms, they are all very much looking into that. What are the opportunities? And the interest is high. But to be honest, the legal tech hasn't changed the industry yet. So interest is high, but not that much value has been delivered by the legal tech firms so far. Of course, you can say that the Google is a legal tech firm, and Microsoft is a legal tech firm, and they are great products and services, but kind of native legal tech firms haven't changed the market yet that much. So the law firms are looking into very actively about the legal tech products, and many of the legal tech companies are targeting to the law firms. I'm not sure if that's actually so wise way to do it. I'm not sure the law firms should be the target of the legal tech startups, because the law firms, we are in a kind of a traditional business model, and the structure and the culture in a big law firm is maybe not the most adaptive, and we are willing to take and adopt legal tech, but still we are quite slow. And maybe the change is not coming from law firms. I think the change is coming outside of the law firms. If I would put up a legal tech startup, I would maybe kind of create some real legal tech firm outside of the law firms, and kind of challenge the status of law firms in this market. and of course there are much that type of legal tech startups, but that is hard, difficult to find the place. But I think the change to this industry is coming outside of law firms, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you make a really valid point there, sort of like being more disruptive rather than just like trying to market to law firms where like that change is a little bit slower. And those are the types of conversations that we've also had before this podcast. So really resonated with me when you said that. Just going along those lines, how do you think that interactive legal tech tools like chatbots, or for example, one that you're more familiar with as well, the Pocket Ink, how do tools like that, how do you see them changing, like the legal industry or the way clients approach law firms or lawyers in general, especially when it comes to really small companies or startups that want to, avoid going to a big law firm and, not have to pay, $1,200 an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, what I actually one of the value propositions I like in DLA is that it's a global platform. You can run your business on top of DLA service. You can have a business everywhere, anywhere, and you have a kind of a platform service what you can deploy anywhere you have your business. That is one of those value propositions I really much love in DLA. But that is exactly what you actually could deliver through the Legaltech kind of a SaaS service. You really could make kind of the most simple legal stuff what is kind of running the corporate service or running a company everywhere, whether it's a German company, US, UK, wherever you put your subsidiary, that you could actually have a kind of a legal service, legal platform where you don't have to pay 400 euros or 600 per hour for DLA or any other lawyers. That you really kind of the most simple stuff could happen as an internet service, legal as a service product, and that is one of my hobbies. Have been developing this kind of pocketing service. What kind of promises this type of corporate or company as a service product that you can run your company or your companies wherever they are, and which makes the most trivial corporate law corporate law actions what are needed. So there is a lot of ways, but there is a lot of ideas in the markets. That the challenge is to make those valuable, useful, easy to work, and then to market and to have the market recognition. But interesting.
Yeah, totally. And yes, of course, I mean, automating some of those more sort of tedious or like, trivial legal tasks, you're saying that's sort of where legal tech comes in. Do you think that also helps, lawyers like you focus on tasks that are more interesting or, just more sort of involve legal advice or, solving complex issues rather than, being bogged down by like the more procedural tasks that could just be automated? Just want to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, it's one of those topics which are many times discussed in connection with this legal tech. That is this the end to the associate lawyers and so on, or is the end to the legal profession if you have machines to do this boring work? Absolutely not. It's not end of anything. It's I think that more and more you spend time with on legal matters, more and more you look into the other regulatory frameworks are developing and so on. There is no question about that. That where is what is the value the lawyers are actually providing, and that value is so or that task is so different than what the machines today or even tomorrow are able to do. But I think we really should automate everything we can, and one of the I think it's with all the technologies that when you deploy a technology, you actually introduce much more and new opportunities which were not available before that technology. Whether you talk about, for example, some crypto or NFT stuff, you introduce totally new metaverse. You introduce new things, and kind of technology kind of drives and creates need for legal profession. I think it's that way, instead of that the technology would somehow remove the lawyers from the scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. More augmenting lawyers' work rather than trying to replace it. Because as a lawyer myself, I also fully agree with you. I don't think we're there yet with the legal tech, but we could be biased. We could be biased, towards our own profession. But I've seen, like, I follow DLA's work for a while, and I've seen DLA is one of the most sort of active firms, when it comes to like innovating and like adopting legal tech tools. I remember back in like 2010-11, I remember that the DLA Piper office in San Francisco, they were working with a startup to automate some parts of doc review and things like that. So can you talk a little bit about how legal tech tools help get big law firms a competitive edge over others?
Yeah. I think the competitive edge is coming from actually coming from that the big law firms. What we have is that big law firm has a big amount of data. That is what we have, and if you think that what is the competitive edge we have, and what is the competitive edge we should use, is that we should somehow be able to actually utilize the big data we have. And what I mean by utilizing the big data, one of my colleagues in the UK, one of the outsourcing colleagues, many times discusses that, or kind of there's a vision that if our counterparty is negotiating against any DLA lawyer anywhere globally, whether it's me in Finland or somebody in some other place, they should have a feeling that they are negotiating against DLA Piper. And what it means that every lawyer should have actually that knowledge about what is the market, how these companies, what is their approach to the terms and conditions, what they accept, what they don't accept, who is this person I'm dealing with, how and kind of I should have all that knowledge available because I'm a DLA Piper lawyer. And in order to make that happen, and I think that's just exactly what we should be doing. In order to make that happen, all the data we have, and we have a lot of data, we should be able to extract that market knowledge from that data. Are we able to do it? Not today. Should we do it? Absolutely, yes. But as everybody who has worked in a law firm knows, that there are many kind of good or bad reasons why it's not that simple. The client hygiene, confidentiality, different silos, and so on. But that absolutely should be what we should be doing. And that is a data-driven business. The law, just mention me one other profession what is more kind of dependent of information and data than the law business. We are totally kind of information business, and if in any business the big players who have the data should have a leverage, it's the legal business. So we should be in a very good position to kind of have a strong competitive edge if we're just able to kind of to utilize that edge. So, but I think kind of this data is really the most interesting part of the legal tech, and how we are able to convert the kind of professional advice to a data-driven business, where we are able to extract knowledge and insight from the data we have, instead of asking that what is, Markus, your opinion on this, or what is your judgment on this, that I could kind of rely on the data we have. That is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Sort of changing changing it just from legal advice to data-driven solutions, and more sort of creating lawyers, in like more of an innovative type of role, where they're like more problem solvers rather than just relying on sort of like the black letter of law. Can you talk a little bit about when you recruit new associates? Is legal tech part of their training when you're training them to be to go further in their careers, or is legal tech something that's how integrated is legal tech in your day-to-day work at DLA?
I don't know if it's somehow many times I tend to think that the lawyers are certain type of animals or human beings. I think the lawyers are similar than anybody else. Maybe that most people are not that interested about tech. It's not that what drives the people. Most of the associates, they are not tech driven, or that's not part of their DNA. Some are interested, and it goes to the senior management as well. Most people don't care about the tech. We introduce the products. We try to have sessions where we kind of create the feeling that this is the future, and this is something something we hope you spend some time and idea. But to be honest, most of the associates don't find this as their as something that they think is that they prefer to do the kind of the daily work than spend time with these more or less useful tools what we have. And maybe it tells a bit that these are still kind of tools or nice to have things than an essential part of the legal profession and legal work. So so yes, we try to introduce, but I would like to see the associates spending much more time with these products and kind of trying to change the work than just working.
Yeah, totally. And just our previous episode, we were also talking about how this could start more at the law school level. Getting students exposed to the different types of tech tools available and getting them excited as well. But yeah, thank you for your insight on that. And just also going off of that, what are some of the legal tech trends? You talked about the GDPR app, that makes it very easy to, come up with data privacy types of documents. It's just super relevant, especially for small companies that are designing their policies. And it's much better than just picking up some random template from Google. So what are some of the legal tech trends or technology tools that are available right now, are the ones that you're using that you're most excited about? Or do you have an idea that could revolutionize the legal tech world that you want to share with us?
Yeah. The last years I've spent most of the time with kind of figuring out that is this natural language processing, what is it capable to do, and what it's actually capable to do, because the legal work today is very much based on texts, documents, words, as we know, and it just is a matter of fact, even in 2022, that the machines are not fluent with the natural language. They are very limited. The capabilities are very limited, and I think many of the legal tech startups have based their kind of business idea to the natural language recognition at some level. But that is very challenging because the tech is not ready. To be honest, it's not ready to drive any that much valuable. So I've kind of lost a bit my interest in this in natural language processing side of the legal tech. Today, I'm very much interested about anything and everything which relates to crypto and smart contracts. because I think if you really want to put the machines to work for you, you have to talk the same language as the machines talk. You have to kind of put your assets and your logic to that word and logic what the machine understands, and that is what the smart contracts do. And what are these crypto platforms, what they are all about. And and uh, and and uh, and there is so much now happening in this crypto side, especially about these non-fungible tokens. What really make possible to introduce new type of assets, new type of asset class. Maybe kind of if we have an IPR, which is one of the big topics in law, been traditionally that we actually are able to kind of extend the IPR asset class, maybe to some other new type of IPR type of assets, which are on top of some NFT platforms, and kind of make it possible to make transactions with the new type of asset class. I think that is just fascinating, and that is actually one of those kind of hype things even in DLA, that we have our own kind of token offering, or crypto offering. We have this TOCO offering, which combines kind of a regulatory advice to Hedera platform based crypto NFT issuance capabilities. So we're able to actually put in place a crypto asset ICO on top of our kind of own tech and our own advice. That is one of those kind of hype things what we are doing. But I think this crypto and NFT is it's kind of a native to the machines, and then you are really able to make something what works and where the machines are at their best. And we haven't kind of seen but just the beginning of this crypto NFT thing. That's my view.
Yeah, and that is very cool. That's like a new world of its own that's really come to the forefront over the last couple of years, especially over the last year, thanks to, in part, Elon Musk and everything that's happening with the cryptocurrencies. What is the level of interest that you receive from your clients when you talk about like possibly building them NFTs, like in cryptos, things like that?
Yeah. When these contract review automation tools came to the market, some maybe 5 years ago, to at least the Finnish market in a big way, and all the law firms and other consultancies took them to use and started to market that. Now we are able to make a kind of automate the due diligence work and automate all type of a contract review work. I actually I visited many of the Finnish biggest corporates, and spent time with their legal teams with the idea that I will show you that what is the state of the art contract review technology today, and let's kind of figure out together that what we could do and how we could use this for you. And all the companies invited. I didn't get any kind of rejections. Everybody was, hey, just you're welcome, and please tell us more about this. So there is a hunger. Companies are hungry to find out new ways to do the legal work, to find new efficiencies. So there is a traction is in place. The challenge is that these products still are not delivering that value, at least that much value, that comparing that what they are promising. So there is still kind of a bit gap now between the marketing and the actual value. So companies are very interested, and I think that is the fascinating part, that there is the markets, there is an interest in the markets. Whoever is able to put in place the right offering to really provide value, to find the use to find that use case, what is really valuable for customers. There is a big markets available, and I think the legal tech startups and entrepreneurs, market is good if you have something to offer.
Yeah, totally. And when it also comes to, you've dealt with a lot of like mergers and acquisitions. Some of them, I'm assuming, were also, transnational and involved, entities from different types of countries. Can you talk through some of the challenges of, manually negotiating, like deals or any sort of contract provisions with them, especially when different languages may be included, maybe involved, maybe not just English, but say you're speaking with a company in France, and all of their documents are in French. So can you talk through some of those challenges, and also talk about whether there are legal tech tools that could make that easier? Like, I know you've talked about natural language processing not being fully there, but would love to hear your insights on that.
I'm not sure if I have used that type of a kind of a that type of a platform product or collaboration product for that type of cross-border work. What we are seeing is this type of a kind of contract lifecycle management products, which nowadays have a quite wide offering, that you can kind of create the contract through some templates. You can send it to the other party. You can actually negotiate online, and you can have the markups, kind of shared markups and comments in one place. You don't transfer the document through emails, but you have a kind of online platform where the documents are, and then you can sign and close the deal, and then you can archive the document. You can kind of have a end-to-end lifecycle management products. I think that is one of those legal tech areas what are actually kind of growing quite fast now, and the customers are finding those quite useful. One of the legal tech products I'm using mostly, maybe every day, besides the GDPR app, is actually DocuSign, which to me I couldn't live without that service. I think it's great, and I think that's kind of one of the examples that if you really make a, first of all, useful and easy to use product, then you have succeeded. But I think DocuSign is an example that you actually don't have a contract lifecycle management, but you only have one part of that, but you do that very well. That it might be better kind of a proposition than to manage a kind of too big offering, than to do something narrow but do it very well.
Yeah. And DocuSign has its own, different like platforms where it's also like dipping into the legal tech world as well, which brings me to my next question. There's a lot of interest. I was at Legal Week a month ago in New York, and I saw a lot of interest from large enterprises, whether that's like Onnit, Simplify, Concilio. They offer these sort of legal tech, toolkits. It includes a lot of different types of tools. Whether that's for review, that's just general CLM, client relationship management, but they offer them as like a package. In your mind, like you were talking about, like focusing on one area and doing that really well. Do you think is that something that's a bit more marketable to say to law firms, or just amongst like tech clients that you've observed, or are people more drawn to individual solutions when we talk about ease of use?
What type of products there is within that type of toolkit? What type of products they typically have? Because we haven't seen that in Finland, so just curiosity that what is that toolbox?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of, I mean, they'll offer, some sort of like review. On top of that, there will be client relationship management. And then, with that, like there'll be at the end, like DocuSign. So it's all like sort of one, it's supposed to function as like one system. So, it's like add-ons that you can take. So just wanted to hear, like, how do law firms view that? Is it easier for law firms to just say that I go to one company and I'll buy a package and it'll do everything for me? Or is it better to invest in more sort of individual solutions that just kind of work better on their own, but can also work together?
I think for at least for law firms, it would be maybe it would be challenging to sell a package which includes all possible products because we kind of try to be at the forefront of each type of a service offering, and typically you have to make some compromises if you take a box of tools. All of the tools are not the best possible. For corporate customers, why not? Because the legal is not their core business, but it might make sense. But I'm a bit, maybe I'm a bit skeptical about this type of toolboxes. I kind of, because I'm so big fan of DocuSign. It's just kind of an example that if you make something very well, then that works. You don't have to have a toolbox, but you have to provide some value. There is one. There is one about 15 years old Finnish law firm, which is actually now the only listed law firm in the Finnish stock market. Their traditional idea, which I still think is great, is that they have the law firm is on top of kind of a digital platform that you have all the alerts, all the information, all the documents for your client online in a digital workplace, and you can even chat with your lawyer in that environment. So you really put your law firm on a cloud, so to say, and you can chat, and you can take the documents, and you can send the documents for review, and get all the info you need from that kind of cloud. I still think that is a kind of a great idea. They have had some success, maybe not huge, but it has been some type of success story still. But I like the idea that you have a kind of a fully digital lawyer.
Yeah.
So maybe that type of a kind of toolbox, that you have a law firm on cloud.
Yeah, yeah, and now there's even law firms on the metaverse. Things
Yeah,
are
yeah.
changing. That's an exciting area too. And like, let's see where that takes us. And for my final question, I want to ask you, Marcus. You've dealt with a lot of different types of like contracts over your career, and initially when I graduated law school and started out, there was this trend that I noticed. Correct me if I'm wrong about this, but every law firm wants to have its own sort of template of how they do contracts. It's kind of almost their USP that this is, say, KLN will have its own, White and Case has its own, DLA has its own, and that's kind of like almost like their trademark. But when we're talking about integrating more and more legal tech in day-to-day work and automating a lot of contract review, do you think it is realistic to have sort of that large-scale standardization? Do you see it already happening? What are your insights on that?
You don't find a lawyer who is more favorable to kind of general terms, standard templates, standard contracts than myself. Uh, you may enjoy the first 10 or 100 contract you kind of tailor made, but then you start to understand that you are not bringing value. But the value is coming from different things than kind of creating the template again and again. I think the standard templates are the best thing. best thing. And I'm very surprised that we still globally, and if you take sector by sector or practice by practice, we still have so few standard templates or standard contract models. We should have it much more. And I think one of the ideas for Legaltech service would be that, and I think there are such on the market that we could have a place where we could actually share more and more these standard templates. That is what we should be doing. And but still, going forward, I think that even because kind of creating a template, what is a natural language has the limitations of natural language. I'm looking for what is actually the next step that we get rid of this natural language. That is because that creates the difficulties for any kind of a next level of legal tech product. We have to take that jump out of the natural language at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how do you envision from jumping from natural language processing and maybe sort of more like treating contracts as codes or algorithms, or how do you envision it?
I don't know. The language is what makes the human being. So it's not easy to replace. What else would we understand in a way that if you and me we agree on something, how we document the agreements besides using some language? What is the other way to represent the agreements? I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out soon. But that's a really interesting idea, sort of changing that dependency on simply language, and maybe we can have QR codes, QR code contracts. That's an idea for anyone listening out there. I don't have any IP on that yet. Feel free to run with it.
Is it some visualization? Is it some picture? People are different. Is it some skeleton, some structure, some logo, or some? I don't know.
Yeah, and that could be the future of law. Like you just take your phone, now when you go to restaurants, you don't even need to, read the menu. You can just scan the QR code, shows up on your phone. Perhaps that's what, contracts would end up becoming in the future. Like, just maybe like just a chart or, some sort of a code. But it's a very cool idea. Thanks so much for sharing. And it's been wonderful talking with you, Markus. Really appreciate all your insights. I think this has been one of the most informative, episodes that I've done so far. So truly a pleasure. Thanks so much to all our audience for tuning in, and I really appreciate all your interest and finding more about legal tech and AI. Feel free to send us your thoughts. We'll be posting this video later on LinkedIn as well, so check that out. Check out Speed Legal's work. We're doing a lot of really cool stuff coming up over the next few weeks, as you'll hear from us about how can we be most efficient in the way we review contracts, the way we look at documents, and how can we reduce all that like tedious work that goes into it and focus on some of the more interesting tasks on the lawyer side, and on the corporate side, how can we save you more legal expenses and also make your legal work go faster. Thanks so much, everyone, and thanks very much again, Markus.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll log off.